on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged Review, and I'm about to review WWE Evolution. And I gotta tell you, I am very, very torn with this pay-per-view. On the one hand, it's a big moment for women in wrestling, and even Paige tweeted out because people were complaining about certain things during the pay-per-view, why can't you just let women have their moment? Well, that's true. You should just allow the women to enjoy their moment and have a time in the spotlight. But there's always that but when it comes to WWE. And the big but here is that you can tell that WWE didn't push this like a major pay-per-view. I feel like they didn't take very much thought or time with the booking. They didn't promote it that good on their shows. They were promoting Crown Jewel way more than they were promoting Evolution in the last week's Raw and SmackDown. And they still have another Raw and SmackDown before Crown Jewel. So I just don't feel like they were taking it very seriously. And even to look at the production value of the pay-per-view itself, every pay-per-view, every Raw, every SmackDown is brightly lit. It has a certain feel to it that Evolution didn't have. It looked like a house show. So that was the first thing that caught my attention right away. I knew from the match card that I wasn't exactly excited about this, and I said in several reviews for Raw and SmackDown that Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair was the match I was most excited for, and rightly so. And the match I was most feared for was Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella, and rightly so. So let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to go match by match. I'm going to give you my thoughts, and I'll try not to be overly critical at times, but sometimes I need to be. So we start out with Trish Stratus versus Lita. Trish Stratus and Lita versus Mickie James and Alicia Fox with Alexa Bliss. And I was kind of surprised that they started with this one because Lita and Trish Stratus are so big and synonymous with women's wrestling. But I don't know. I guess with what they had, this was a good place to start. The match itself was fine. There was one kind of big botch with Alicia Fox where Trish Stratus was pinning Mickie James, and Alicia Fox was supposed to go in and break up the count, and like literally you could hear the 1, 2, and then the referee had to stop the count because he knew the match wasn't supposed to end, and Mickie James didn't kick out, so yeah, it didn't look great. It really didn't, and the crowd started booing a little bit. So that's on Alicia Fox. Come on, you had one job to do. At the end, though, it turns into a situation where I think it was Mickie James they had down. Lita hits her backflip splash. Trish Stratus, she hits a Trish kick, and they take the win. So, not bad. I mean, all these women, except for Alicia Fox, are over 40 now. Alicia Fox is 32, so she's actually still in her prime. So I didn't expect it to be an incredibly fast-paced match. They had some decent spots to it. You know, so it was a good match for what it was. The one big botch, of course, was Alicia Fox. And that was really the only thing I could say really, truly negatively about it. Backstage interview with the Bella Twins after that match. Doing their heel stick wasn't important to me. Then you get the 20-woman Battle Royal. And this is one of the matches I had the biggest problem with. So, right off the bat, I'll try to list off some of the names that were wasted on this fucking Battle Royal. This was a huge, massive, ginormic waste of talent. Naomi, Sonya Deville, Alexa Zelina Vega, you have Ember Moon, Mandy Rose. They had Molly Holly in there. They had Ivory, Asuka. And so they introduced all these women. They had a collection of current roster and, you know, divas. Of course, Michelle McCool, people like that, Kelly. And they also had Tamina and Nia Jax in there. So you're just wasting a bunch of talent no matter who wins. It's just thrown into this Rumble because they didn't know what to do with the card. The match itself, it had a couple of highlights, I guess, but you know, it's just a generic Rumble. That's all it is. With a bunch of girls tripping all over each other and not really having any good spots. So for an Evolution pay-per-view, you know, the first ever all-women's pay-per-view, I feel like this was stupid. And I heard rumor that either Asuka or Ember Moon was going to win. Well, Asuka got eliminated, I want to say, like 16th. So you know it's not going to be Asuka. You're left with Molly Holly, who lasted in there a while, Tamina, Nia Jax, and Ember Moon. And it finally comes down to Nia Jax and Ember Moon, and it actually looks like they're going to give it to Ember Moon, which would be at least a good ending. But instead of doing that and going with someone new and actually creating the future, they go right back to Nia Jax, who I have been very outspoken about because she is a public service announcement with legs. Like, that's all she is to the WWE, and I was so disgusted that she won. I really was. I don't care what anybody says. She is just there for PR at this point. Like, that's why they made her win the match, I guarantee you. Because big women can handle it too. I don't care. I don't care. She is sloppy in the ring. She's dangerous. She has hurt other wrestlers. She's come close to hurting a lot more wrestlers. I thought this was garbage. Absolute fucking garbage from beginning to end. I didn't like it. I hella didn't like the ending. Especially when you have other actually good talent in there. The girl can't even keep her wind to carry a match. She gets winded and gets tired and hurts people. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So, next you get Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. This is the end of the Mae Young Classic 2. And it was a good match. I liked it. Toni Storm, first time seeing her. Io Shirai, first time seeing her. Pleasantly surprised by both of them. Io Shirai took a couple of pretty big bumps, actually. She did a backflip from the top of the turnbuckle to the outside of the ring. And it looked like she smacked her head pretty good on the barricade. And then she also took a snap suplex to the ring apron. Like they were both outside the ring on the ring apron. And so yeah, she took a couple of good bumps. But both of them look really athletic, really good, have good shticks for the ring. A lot of personality in either one of them. So yeah, I mean, it was a good match. At the end, Toni Storm won. She wins the Mae Young Classic 2. There was a presentation there from Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. So I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely a step up from the first two matches on the card. Then you get the Riot Squad versus Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya. Decent match here again. And one issue I had with this match is there was a spot where Sasha Banks is outside the ring with all three members of the Riot Squad. They've got her picked up, and they throw her really hard neck first into the barricade and drop her. And you could tell it fucking hurt Sasha Banks. I really like most of the women in this match. I'm not really too big on Sarah Logan, honestly. If I'm being honest, she does nothing for me. But I like Ruby Riott. I like Liv Morgan. And actually in this match, Liv Morgan showed a lot of personality. I think the world of Sasha Banks as a wrestler. I think she deserved a better spot on this pay-per-view. I think she is very instrumental in the women's evolution, and I truly believe that Sasha Banks deserves a bigger spot than what she had. I'm a big fan of Bayley and Natalya. So, I mean, it had some cool stuff to it, and they had some close calls, and Sasha Banks, you know, just getting pounded by all three women and getting these huge bumps from all three of them, one right after the other, and you would think, you know, that they're going to pin her and then pin her again and then pin her again, and she fights through all of it. So they made Sasha Banks look strong. I think she deserves more. I do. So at the end, Natalya, I forget who it was, hits her with a power bomb. Bayley hits her with her Macho Man elbow, and then Sasha Banks hits with a frog splash, and there you go. They pick up the win. So I was glad to see Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya win. Although I do like the Riot Squad. At least I like Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott herself. But I just feel like even though this was a decent match, it was still a waste of talent. I do. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. I feel like a Women's Evolution pay-per-view without Sasha Banks having a headline match and doing something, you know, where she can truly shine, I wasn't a fan of, to be very honest. After that, you get Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. This is the NXT Women's Championship. And it was a very good match all up until the end, where they just said, fuck the rules, fuck disbelief. There was a spot where you had some of the NXT wrestlers in the front row, and Kairi Sane threw Shayna Baszler into the front row. And then these two girls, like, come up and, like, one of them's literally grabbing Kairi Sane and holding her there right in front of the referee. The referee's looking dead at her. No disqualification. He doesn't call anything. There's nothing. And then these two girls come out from the front row in the audience into the ringside area, and they're causing problems on the ring apron. And again, the ref is just standing there like it's all normal, like in any other situation this would happen. And so, like, WWE just, like, completely screwed up that match. At the end, it was retarded. There was no suspension of disbelief there whatsoever. Like, you're just like, really? This is what WWE has in mind for the end of this match? It was a really good match up until that point. And then they just, done. It was terrible ending. So Shayna Baszler, she gets Kairi Sane, and her finishing move, I forget what she calls it, the submission, makes Kairi Sane go to sleep. Shayna Baszler is now two-time NXT Women's Championship holder. So then you get what is easily the best match of the night, and I've been calling it for weeks. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, last woman standing match. Honestly, hats off to Charlotte and Flair. I mean, hats off to both of them. It was a damn good match. Really good storytelling, really good action all the way through. But I think what really made it good was the suspense in these women taking these massive shots, because Charlotte Flair took many, many, many bad shots. I mean, not just one or two, man. Like, a whole match worth. And I give her all the credit in the world. I think Charlotte, she put her body through hell, and she wore the bruises of it before that match was done. Like, she was bruised and cut up all over the place, man. It was crazy. And Becky Lynch obviously took some major bumps too. I'm just saying Charlotte because she really took, I think, the majority of the really bad bumps. Just took some nasty shots. So, hats off to both girls. It was a damn good match. Match of the night for me, easily. One of the best matches I've seen this year. So, it really says a lot about Charlotte and Becky, and I knew it was going to be good. At the end, Becky hit Charlotte with a power bomb from the ring apron to a table on the ground outside of the ring, and yeah, it looked nasty. I mean, it definitely looked nasty. And then Charlotte couldn't get back up for the 10 count. So, Becky retains. Very good match. Very, very good match. Take nothing away from either one of those women. After that, you get the worst match of the night. And I knew it was coming. Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. And they did the same shit they did when the Bellas were in the ring. Now, first of all, when you have Nikki Bella in the main event of a Women's Evolution pay-per-view, you don't get the concept. That's just straight up. Whoever is in charge of this pay-per-view and the lineup and the booking, they don't get the concept. They do not get it. Nikki Bella and Brie Bella are good for Total Divas and Total Bellas, and that's how they make money for wrestling, and that's how they get people to get interested in wrestling that may not have been before. But they're not wrestlers. They're not good at it. They never have been. They never will be. There's been some improvement on Nikki Bella's part, I'll give her that much, but the Bellas suck in the ring. So they have all these gimmick moments in there that kind of take away from what an actual wrestling match should be. And then, you know, you have Ronda Rousey throw her around for a minute, put the armbar on her, and there you go. That's the match. There was nothing that stood out about this match. Ronda Rousey had the highlight when she had both Bellas up in a press where she did like that little spin slam she does. So that was pretty impressive feat of strength from Ronda Rousey. But Ronda Rousey, quite frankly, deserved better than this match. And Evolution deserved better than this for a main event. And so, you know, like I said, I'm torn because I understand it's the first ever women's pay-per-view. But WWE didn't put really too much care and thought into the booking or the promotion or the pay-per-view itself. And, like, what chaps my ass about this is the whole idea of the Women's Evolution. Like, the whole thing started really with AJ Lee, and of course her name was not even mentioned in here at all whatsoever. And AJ Lee was the one who called Stephanie McMahon out on equal pay for women and more screen, basically more screen time, you know, more match time for the women. That's what started the Give Divas a Chance hashtag that was going around. And they talked about it like it was the fucking Bellas who did this. The Bellas were the reason we needed an Evolution in the first place. So I felt that it was actually kind of a disrespect. Like, you know, I'm sorry, dude. Just like with the 20-woman Battle Royal, you have so much incredible talent, and really the highlights are 3 women who can't wrestle whatsoever. Nia Jax, who won the thing, and the Iconics, who are terrible. I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. You had one really, really solid good match from beginning to end in the whole pay-per-view. One. Man, I don't know. I don't know, man. I wanted to be happy for him. I wanted to be excited. And after seeing the pay-per-view, the potential is there with the women on the roster. If the talent is utilized correctly. And they're clearly not. WWE doesn't have a fucking clue what the fans expect or want. And this shows. It shows so well in this. You know, I feel like this did more to set women's wrestling back than it did to set it forward. I truly believe that. You had so many really talented women wrestlers just overlooked. And you gave the highlight to a few women who weren't worth the time. That's not an Evolution. So, I don't know, man. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10, I think. It wasn't worth much more than that. Now, if you had a bunch of good matches plus Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, it would be highly, highly rated. But I can't do that with the pay-per-view as a whole. Now, that match by itself, I mean, 8, 9 out of 10. It was just that damn good. But the pay-per-view, as it stands, put together like it was, I just feel like they failed. I feel like they failed on just about every account here. So that's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm being harsh on it, but I mean, like I said, even when you first turn it on and it's so kind of dark and dismal in there, it just wasn't... WWE didn't care. This was a public relations move is what it was. And it shows. So that's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know I'm being pretty harsh on this, but I honestly believe it's deservedly so. I really do. Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch were the highlights. And that's as much as I have. So if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz. Kaged Nation, out.